Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Karoline Leavitt absolutely wrecks these ridiculous reporters that if they bothered doing their jobs, they could find the answers to their questions with just a simple Google search. Seriously, let's dive in.
There have been steps made to ensure that something like that can obviously never happen again, and we're moving forward. And the president and Mike Waltz and his entire national security team have been working together very well. If you look at how much safer the United States of America is because of the leadership of this team.
On the tariffs, are there going to be sector-by-sector announcements this week at the event you're alluding to? Is it going to be focusing on sectors or more country-based tariffs?
The goal of Wednesday are country-based tariffs, but certainly sectoral tariffs. The president has said he's committed to implementing them, and I'll leave it to him on when he makes that decision and that announcement.
Caroline, does President Trump still plan to talk to President Putin this week, and if so, when?
I don't have a readout for you on that call, but as always, we'll provide a readout. Usually the president likes to let you guys know first, especially for big calls like that. Steve?
Any exemptions for farmers being considered for these tariffs?
No exemptions at this time.
Caroline.
The validation guide that DHS is using to determine who is an enemy alien, a Tren de Aragua member, and deportable under the Enemy Aliens Act, it has criteria here that require 8 points to be classified as a TDA member. You can get classified by simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands. That alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA and sent to El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents, have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line to detain these foreign terrorists who have been terrorizing our communities? TDA is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women. And our agents on the front lines take deporting these people with the utmost seriousness, and there is a litany of criteria that they use to ensure that these individuals qualify as foreign terrorists and to ensure that they qualify for deportation. And the president made it incredibly clear to the American public that there would be a mass deportation campaign of not just foreign terrorists, but also illegal criminal aliens who have been wreaking havoc on American communities. And shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals who have. This is a vicious gang, Andrew. This is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women.
The government filed in court, which says all.
And you said yourself there are 8 criteria on that document.
They need 8 points.
And you are questioning the credibility of these agents who are putting their life on the line to protect your life and the life of everybody in this group and everybody across the country. And their credibility should be questioned. They finally have a president who is allowing them to do their jobs, and God bless them for doing it.
Caroline, what method would the president?
Atta girl, Caroline. Just absolutely handing it to this reporter, which if he bothered to do any basic Google search, seriously, I found the whole point system in a matter of seconds with a couple of good keywords inside of Google. This isn't hard. Why does journalism require these sorts of people to go out and ask these easy softball questions that don't really go anywhere and don't really add to the conversation? And of course, what Karoline Leavitt does is she's deflecting from the point, and I don't blame her because it's not her job to quite literally break down how this point system works for Tren de Aragua. This organization, which has been authorized by Maduro himself, the dictator of Venezuela, to open up the prisons, go into the United States, abuse humanitarian processes, and then get released by Democrat district attorneys, often funded by George Soros, no less, and then they go off into other areas, into smaller sections of the country, like, for instance, Athens, Clarke County, and her name is Laken Riley. By the way, never ever forget that name. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Georgia boy with all this Atlanta Braves stuff and, a Chipper Jones bat back here. That's not the point. The fact is, I remember the name of Laken Riley because I know who runs Athens, Clarke County. Okay, it's a whole bunch of Democrats. It is a third world country. The roads are absolutely shot to pieces, and it's still a problem to this day. And the Democrats there cared more about the fact that, oh, well, rhetoric might get out of control, instead of, hey, an illegal migrant just ended the life of a young student who was on the reservation. She was on essentially what was the resort for that third world country, the University of Georgia resort, for just lack of a better phrase. And this reporter is out there asking about point systems. This isn't an episode of Band of Brothers, by the way, arguably the best episode, but regardless, this isn't something out of a World War II memorial. This is something that you're asking that you could easily Google in seconds. And you know what? I'm going to provide that for you because I am a better journalist than this schmuck, okay? That point system, by the way, works on 8 points. If you have 8 points and if you are a migrant to the United States, you are then identified as an illegal alien under the Alien Enemies Act, by the way, which is the one of 4 laws that were written in 1798 that either are still on the books or haven't been fully repealed. It's the only one that's still in action, and even the Congress, as Democrat as it is, still understands that, hey, every now and then the president might actually need these powers. Well, guess what? We're in that situation right now. So if you want to ask yourself about the point system, here it is. If you have financial transactions indicating criminal activity for Tren de Aragua, or no members of TDA, you get 3 points docked against you. And then there's this whole symbolism clause, which, by the way, here's the full breakdown. If a migrant scores 8 points or more across multiple categories, they then can be determined to be a part of TDA. But if scored only found in the symbolism or association categories, then a supervisor must be consulted. So, in other words, what's going on is if you only have a handful of points here and there and it doesn't add up to 8, or even if it adds up to 8, someone's going to come in and make sure that, hey, we're not actually going to deport you. We're just looking at your social media profiles and say, hey, you've been posting a bunch of very weird stuff, so we're just taking a good hard look at the problem here. Okay? That's not an issue. That is something that our federal government is supposed to be doing. And by the way, if you have symbolisms or you're throwing out hand signs for Tren de Aragua and you're posting onto social media and you're a migrant, yeah, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, you might be a duck. Okay? I don't blame the Trump administration for going after this sort of nonsense in the slightest. This is something that isn't just on the books. This is basic common sense. If you're carrying water for cartels, this isn't Better Call Saul. This isn't Breaking Bad. This is quite literally a situation where you need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, should I be doing this? And the Democrats and the mainstream media are still out there carrying water for these people. I'm not talking about the worst of the worst. We can find these people pretty easily. We have the systems in place. It's just that the Biden administration for the last 4 years refused to take any action whatsoever until it was too little, too late. They opened the floodgates, let all these illegal migrants in without questioning how they got in here or who they were representing. And now we have a problem on our hands. The Trump administration is trying to fix that problem to the best of their abilities. They're using legal action under the Alien Enemies Act, an act created by Congress, and of the 4 laws, this is the one that has remained, that hasn't been sundowned or completely repealed, and even the congressional and legislative branch understands that every now and then, the president needs to have certain powers. And they are granted these powers under this law. And instead of asking how this actually works, the mainstream media tries to see if they can catch Karoline Leavitt in a catch-22. good luck, buddy. That didn't work out for you here. It's not going to work out for you in the future. And it's why mainstream media is dying the slow death of an anaconda slowly reticulating around a bloated body. Let's be honest, folks. The mainstream media is on its last legs, and this is the best they can present. Come on, guys. I found this information with just a few seconds on Google. Do better, mainstream media. Karoline Leavitt, on the other hand, you're doing a great job. Do not engage with this sort of nonsense. Give them the derision they deserve, because let's be honest, journalism needs to be made great again, and it's not going to happen when you're asking these ridiculous questions that can be answered in a 2-second Google search. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.